Now, a couple of weeks ago, I showed you how to install the deluxe rear window sill that uses the locking bead. If you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, you're going to be able to find that video nice and easy along with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other videos. But today, I'm going to show you how to install the standard seal. What's the difference between the two? Stay tuned. You're going to find out. Now this rubber is actually new, and I could just simply pull down the edge from the inside and pop it on out, but the chances of you being able to do that at home is pretty much absolutely zero. It's more than likely been in there forever, and you're going to have to cut it out. Now, you got a couple of different choices on doing that. If your truck is the paint's old and everything like that, you really don't have to worry about it. You can just cut it like this. If your truck is all painted, you're not going to want to do that. You're going to come from the bottom. If you're going to be saving your old glass, make sure that you get tape on the glass to protect it. I don't have to worry about this glass, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. I also don't have to worry about the paint on this truck either, but I'm just going to show you this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start like this, and we're going to just take a couple of different passes until it feels like we've cut enough off of there. And we're going to bring it all the way around and down the other side. Now sometimes I've got to do the bottom too, but a lot of times I don't cut the bottom, because if I do, it'll make the glass sometimes just fall right on out and break. Even though I'm not going to be reusing this glass, maybe one of my buddies can reuse it, so I don't want to do any damage to it if I can. Once I've got it cut to about this level here, I can simply take the glass and I'm going to tap on it to kind of pop it off the seal. When I'm doing that, I'm making sure I'm not using any sharp points, because the sharp point might crack the glass. So I want to make sure I've got a nice flat hand to tap it with, and I'll pop it off at the top. Then I'll just be able to lean it forward a little bit and then pull it on out. Good to go. So let's take a look at some of the tools that we're going to need. Nothing's really all that big of a deal. One of the things I'm going to do is get some rope. This is 1/4 inch cloth rope. It's just like your rope you're using to dry your clothes with. I'm going to get some soapy water and I'm going to put it in there and let it soak up so it's really nice and pliable. They've got these right here. What this is you simply put it on your glass. You close that little clamp there, and now you can hold on to your glass a lot easier. That's really helpful and handy to use these guys. You're going to need some of these little plastic tools here, little spatulas, tape a lot of times. I like to use this right here. This is foamy glass cleaner, and it's really nice and slippery, and at the same time I can clean my glass while I'm installing it, so to speak. I don't like to use the silicone sprays because I paint cars for a living. Silicone and paint do not get along really well. And then of course we're going to need some rags to clean everything up. Now the degree of difficulty on this, it can vary. Sometimes they install kind of nice and easy, and it's like maybe a 3 or 4 on the degree of difficulty, and it takes me like an hour or so. Sometimes they just argue with you, and it's going to be a difficult level of like 6 or 7, and it's going to take you a couple hours to get into there. And so I'm going to show you as much helpful handy hints as possible that you can get your glass installed with the least amount of trouble as possible. Now, this isn't actually a video on how to install sliders. I just like sliders, so I'm going to be installing one. You can pass a beer, pet your dog, and all that kind of stuff. But what I like to do before I put the rubber on the edge of the slider is compare it to the old glass and make sure that there aren't any differences. If this is bigger, then it's not going to install as easily. So I'll make sure that my corners here are nice and rounded perfectly. If they're not, I'll just grind that down a little bit, nice and easy, and I'll make sure that my edges here are rounded so that they don't gouge into my rubber or anything either. So let me double check this frame, make sure that I like it perfectly, and then I'll be right back. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and install my rubber on my glass frame here. And it can be kind of confusing on which way it goes. This is the back side here. You can tell it's the back side because it's got this flap right here. And you can see that it's got this groove that's going to fit into the channel on the truck. So I'm going to take this and flip it around. And you'll know this is the side that goes on the outside. You can see how it's nice and smooth here because it doesn't have the channel lock slit that goes in there. And it only has this one little slit right here that the glass is going to go ahead and fit on. So a couple of things about your rubber is that you do not want to order it before you've even painted your car or anything like that. You don't want to have it sitting around the shop for a year or two. Only order it when you're getting close to installing your glass. You want your rubber as nice and soft and pliable as possible. So even when you get it, do not take it out of the bag. Leave it in there as long as you can and only take it out probably the day before you're going to install the glass, because normally what I like to do is install this rubber on the glass and actually leave it on there for a day or so it really kind of molds on. It just makes installing the glass a bit easier. I don't have time for that kind of stuff today, so I'm not going to be doing that today. You'll also be noticing that I'm not using any kind of lube or anything to install this rubber here. One, it's not that difficult because there's no stress on it or anything really. And two, I don't want anything lube on there because I don't want the rubber to come off of the glass. I want to be able to put the lube on when I'm going to be slipping onto the cab, but I want to make sure that this does not slip off the frame. So I'm going to get it started on there. You'll probably have to pull this on down a little bit and get it onto the corner. And you might have to work with this a bit, wiggle it, stretch out the rubber. Maybe you'll use some of your tool here like this. Sometimes the rubber edge gets kind of folded over, so you can do something like this and bring that edge out like that. And now I can install that a little bit easier. One of the main things is that you want to make sure that your corners here are nice and even. You can't have it shifted over too far one way or the other. So this looks like it's a little bit tight to one side. I'm just going to pull this rubber to the edge. And now I've got it fitting on that corner a bit more comfortable. Okay, so it looks like everything's on here nice. Doesn't seem warped or uneven. It's looking pretty good. Like I said, if I had a couple of days that I could just let this sit and kind of mold onto here, I would, but I don't. Okay, so now I'm going to take the rope that's been sitting in here in the soapy water, and I'm going to find the middle of my rope. About here. And I am going to install this, starting with the middle of the rope in the top of the glass right here. They do have miscellaneous little tools that help install this, but they're really not all that tough to do, so I generally don't buy those funny little things. You can see this installs relatively quick and easy. I'm going to give it a tug, make sure it's in there nice and deep. And when I get to the middle on the bottom here, I'll pass up the middle just a little bit, and then I'll let this string hang over there like that. Now I'll do my other side. And on this one, we'll do the same thing. We'll go to the middle, overlap a little bit. And we're good. Now I'm going to take this extra rope right here, put it up on the middle, and then I'm going to tape it up, because if it's all loose, then it's going to get in my way. See how this rubber rolls back? That's how we're going to pull the string down like this. And it's going to roll that rubber down, and when that rolls down, you got your channel on your glass, and then it'll simply roll out like that, and you'll be able to install it. So let's see how cooperative we get on this, and if it's a level 3 or 4 or a level 6 or 7. Before I install my glass, I gotta run my fingers along the channel in here, and I gotta feel for anything sharp and jagged that might catch my rubber and rip it. And then just go ahead and sand it down or grind it down. I'm also gonna take my nice foamy glass cleaner here, and I'll be shooting this around the edge on the inside, the outside, and I'll be shooting it on the frame of the glass where the rope is. Okay, so now we're going to actually install the glass. I'm going to get a little bit more of this lubricant on here, and then come on up, and we're going to get this tucked in here, make sure we're good left to right, and we're going to get it up snug, and we're going to come up over this edge right here. So I want to snug up into that edge as best as I can before I even start pulling the rope, because if the rope's too far away, this edge is too far away, it's just not going to come up over the lip. Another thing that I have to do when I'm pulling the rope is I'm not pulling it this way. I have to pull it directly away from the rubber so that it pulls it up over the edge. So I'm going to get this and see if you can give me a little bit more pressure down here. Right specifically there. Yeah, good. Okay, we're pulling it up. It's barely coming up over that edge though. Oh, there you go. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So now we're just going to go one side a little bit, the other side a little bit. One side some, the other side some. Always remember pulling it up into the glass, if you will. Okay. Now when you get to your corners, they can be a little bit tough, and you might have to do kind of a dance with it, where you're doing something like this. Your corners are generally going to be your toughest bit, so just spend a little bit of time here extra. Okay, got it worked up over that edge, good. Now I can do the other side here. All right, so now we're gonna get this going here. Again, your corners might be problematic, but these are a little bit more rounded, so they're coming off easier. Give me a little tap in that corner there. There you go, excellent, thank you. Now we're gonna do this other corner. Yeah, good, good, keep doing that, keep doing that. Keep doing that, good, good, good. Okay. All right, so now we just need to get it seated in here just a little bit. So let's just kind of keep tapping at our edges here. And all right, good, excellent. Let's get that other side. All right. I'm going to pull the rope down a little bit more. All right, yeah, good. Let me get some tapping down on this side here. Okay, let's try this other side. Okay, always making sure it's coming over the lip. All right, let's get some more tapping in the corners here. Maybe about this area here. Okay. So if you get a spot that dries off, make sure that you get the spray on there, because once it dries, it's a lot easier to tear your rubber. Okay, so I think we're going to be okay with this last few inches here. Let me get pressure kind of in this general area here on both sides. Okay, you good? Yep. All right. All right, everything's looking nice. Okay, our rope is all out. We're over the lip, so now we just need to encourage it in a little bit more, and you're watching this rubber roll up on the edge here. Yeah, it still needs to get tucked in there more. I think if you just give it some nice palm hits like this, it should encourage it. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, it's looking better now. Okay. Yeah, we're almost set. Again, when you're hitting on the glass, it's a nice flat palm. I wouldn't hit these. Okay. All right, looking good. All right. Okay. So it looks like on a scale of 1 to 10, we got away with about a 3 or 4. I hope you do too. My name is David Welch. I'm at Brothers Tech Center every single week making sure your truck gets back on the road. You make sure you stay tuned. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, MySpace. What? Oh, no. And subscribe to the YouTube channel because you just really should, man. You just really should.